And now, from your news source in NORAD, this is EverQuest 2 News. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of EverQuest 2 News. I'm your host Antizark, and here are today's top stories. Some of the most important events in NORAD, tips and tricks, upcoming and ongoing events, and server updates. Stay tuned for all the news. Our first news story is the server merge between Rivervale and Antonia Bale server. The merge happens January 18th, 2022. Heroic mitigation has been reduced in heroic dungeons. The mitigation was too high for the expected potency level you should be at when you enter heroic dungeons. And as a result of this change, raid release dates have been moved back to January 5th. This allows all guilds to be ready and geared up when raids release. Here at EQ2 News, we want to let you know about everything that you can do in EverQuest 2. So here are a few tips and tricks you might want to know. You can get an upgrade to your claimable mount at Mira at the docks in Savarni. These mounts cost currency that you get from dailies and weeklies. The Celestial mount with the mount buff you get from the Ethereals will give you 102,000 potency. Upcoming events include the following. Frostfell, December 7th through January 1st. Moonlight Enchantment Festival, December 20th to the 22nd. Gorewind City Festival is January 1st through the 8th, and the Moonlight Enchantment Festival is January 20th through the 22nd. Map travel locations have now been moved to fit better on the map. Auto attack mitigation has been increased for Visions of Etrovia heroics and raid encounters. Large scroll depots have been fixed. They would not load into non-standard guild halls. Guild hall hirelings can now be Vashir. Home depots have now been fixed to be available to guild halls. Aerotox the Phantom Steed is now claimable on time-locked servers. You can now stay chronoed after zoning. The achievement I dropped what I was doing now gives the proper reward. Caring for your Cerberus collection has now been changed and gives a different reward. Following collection rewards are now correct. The Well-Dressed Libant and Worshipping the Undying. Merc mitigation has been fixed. If it did not have a specific hard-coded minimum level, it did not have mitigation at all. And the personal avatar will now have the correct tier level. Corrected a visual bug for the access item for Karupa Jungle. The in-game calendar has been updated. In all versions of Savarni Expanse, Carrion Crag, High Shikari Elixia will not choose the same location to shoot arrows. In Carrion Crag Heroic 1, Grumblickton will summon Wretched Corpsecurs less frequently. Grumblickton and friends are now more susceptible to state effects such as Mesmerize, Root, Stun, and Fear. In Carrion Crag Heroic 1, Skullcore's Dance of Bones only drains potency once. In Mangabi Waste, Bloodhurger the Cursed should now have Tier 1 heroic buffs. In Warpwood Karen Solo, Aura the Corrupted has less add events between 100 and 50% health. In the Krupa Jungle, Quillock Rex no longer resets if he's further than 250 meters from where he spawns. Quillock Rex will no longer spawn or path near Deepwoods Wild's revive point. Zelirti is now a bartender in Krupa Jungle. In the Heart of Conflict All version, Ugripai will no longer take damage at the start of fight. In Tradeskill Updates Heroic 1, the Scarred by Hatred ability will continue to increment after a knockdown. Tradeskill Descent Heroic 1 and Solo, AE auto attack is removed from the final bosses. In Predator's Perch Event Heroic 2, Eagle Eyes and Serpent's Bite can now be cured and their damage has been reduced. In Forlorn Geist, Lucy and Bledsoe should now have Heroic 1 buffs. Also in Forlorn Geist, the Banker should now be properly standing behind the desk. In all versions of Rosy Revere, Carter can no longer be fought outside the vault. Also in Rosy Revere, the White Bishop has made their triumphant return. Pulling the chess pieces off the board will no longer reset the encounter. Roseblood and Thornbow's Flower Power now increases their potency and melee multiplier over time. In Caverns of the Forsaken Solo, Vorg and Mistmore will summon leftovers less often. In Caverns of the Forsaken Heroic 1, Cypheria the Shackled Sanguine Siphoning inflicts less damage. This effect also counts on Heroic 2. In Caverns of the Forsaken Heroic 2, Balanced Synergy is now removed after dispelling Blood-Linked Chains. In the Shinshin the Betrayer fight, the power drain has been reduced. Navarius Orvalis, Sage in Freeport now has Freeport Citizen's Guide to Opportunity for sale. Melee multiplier now works better. It has been updated to apply to spell weapons. Flawless Vitrovia is now a self-only buff. Berserker updates, Blood Rage 8 renamed to Blood Rage 2, Blood Rage 9 renamed to Blood Rage 3, and Blood Rage 10 renamed to Blood Rage 4. For Paladins, Raid Armament has been fixed to gain arcane mitigation on time-locked servers. Daggerstorm has decreased the damage multiplier that gains from caster's level. Damage multiplier has been increased a flat 1-to-1 up to 8 targets. Huntmaster will now cast at its spell level. For Dirge, the bonus damage granted to Victorious Concerto from Exuberant Encore has been capped. Dirge reset effects will now clear the reuse of Exuberant Encore. For Assassins, Gut and Necrotic Blade will now increment Nightblade's intensity. Also for Assassins, Fatal Follow-Up will now cast at its spell level. For Troubadours, Jester's Ruse will now only trigger once every 2 to 5 seconds. For the Mystic and Defiler, Summon Spirit Animal will now display in the Pets tab. For Mystic, the base auto attack multiplier of Wendigo has been reduced from 5 to 3. Ancestral Bolster and Ancestral Sentry will now cast at its spell level. Base auto attack multiplier Persecution will now scale with level. Reduce the base auto attack multiplier Fanatic's Focus. For Furies, Ball of Lightning, Vampirism, and Huntmaster will now cast at their spell level. For Warden, Fairy Ally will now cast at its spell level. The damage multiplier that Undus Arcana Spiritus gains from the caster's level has been reduced, but the damage per target will increase by a flat 1-to-1 up to 8 targets. Vigorous Companion has changed to Earthen Bulwark, and Undead Knight 12's health has been fixed. For Illusionist, Phantom Troop will now cast at its spell level. For Coercer, Puppet Master will now cast at its current spell level. Conjurer, the health component of Earthen Avatar 12 has been renamed to Earthen Bulwark. For Warlock, an issue that prevented Netherlord from casting Nether Domain above level 114 has been fixed. Storm Decay and Acid Storm now cast at current spell level. Reduce the base auto attack of Terrene Destruction for Geomancers. In Dreamwalk Empire Part 1 Heroic 2, defeating Hino Kawu in Predator's Perch will no longer update Slaughter the Sinshaw. The amount of ethereal trackers you get from the weekly has been increased. The mission Castle Vakral Throne of Yadal now rewards 2 mission crates as intended. In the Connect the Dots mission, the Rhyme Steel Saver Scouts should spawn more reliably now. And how Broken Shore Bay got its name: when Captain Douglin Wakerun is fighting, he should respond correctly now. In the Savage Defense Force, quests cannot be shared until How Broken Shore Bay Got His Name is completed. In Visions of Etrovia Into the Keep, progress updates in Castle Vac Confrontation are now group-wide. In Jungle Offerings, even more Glade Striders update the quest when you are told to hunt Glade Strider. Also in Jungle Offerings, Shaman Bawigi will now try to offer you Jungle Offerings after you finish your quest. So Jar So Good, Canostian jars no longer have a chance of spawning beside the fireplace in the feeding room. In Rumble in the Jungle, rewards from completing the quest Rumble in the Jungle have been improved. Visions of Etrovia warding Ebb poisons now correctly apply their effects. Petrovia Acidic Blaze, warding Ebb and Ignorant Bliss poisons have been improved to reduce combat mit. Guildhall Epic Training Dummies now have toggleable combat mitigation buff. Item icons have been fixed for a number of items. Vampiric Requiem has been fixed and no longer persists through zoning or death. The Bloodrot Knuckles of Baleful Dreams appearance has been corrected, as well as the Bloodrot Knuckles of Channeled Carnal Legacy. All Lifestone baubles will replace themselves and should stay attuned. Bloodbound Rune of Withering has been moved to earlier in progression. Outdated items will return to Dorns now, when they are removed from the game. The unlit Vakral Chandelier, Vakral Double Chandelier, and Vakral Quadruple Chandelier should now anchor properly. Elaborate Forlorn Wall Sconce should now anchor to the wall properly. Many item icons have changed. The Abysmal Sea Earring of Insight now has Acrylia adornments. Wands are now amulets. Certain waist heads and hands armor pieces have been removed from mission rewards. Flumo Hydrax drops have changed. Tooth petals have been removed and no longer drop from monsters. Fancy Black Vakral Bishop house item has been resized. Infused temporary adornments have been altered to work on 110. Infused temporary adornments now fit in intended gear slots. Artisan's Tunic will now give proper boost to stats. Tier 9 crown receptacles names have changed. Higher level work orders are now available, from 121 to 125 for all crafters. No more transmutation stones from the trade skill missions. Forlorn Adornment recipes now use Vitrovian fragments instead of Imperials. Master of the Hunt 8 is now craftable. Wanderer's Ferocity 2 is now craftable. Mangabi Waste now has more harvesting nodes. Where's the Messenger Wild Ride? If you reject the ride, the Dino will have a feather over it. Marauder's Vaunt 2 is now correctly listed. Zombies have stopped disappearing during the trade skill mission. Forlorn Geist Harvest will not disappear after you log out. You now won't get a missing reward if you're maxed on Trade Skill Progress Potion. Roots are now harder to get. Yay! Rare roots have been removed from jungle shrubs, and Forlorn Geist Trade Skill items now fit in the harvesting bag. The Pack Pony will no longer pluralize roots. Visions of Etrovia adorning crafting materials are now all green and correctly labeled. Trade skill missions now reward their missing coin. VOV trade skill requirements are reduced for weeklies. Pack Ponies and Obelisk Gardens now give Savorite. Auto attack damage and mitigation has been increased in PvP. Fire Seeds have been nerfed and will do reduced damage in PvP combat. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, or follow if you enjoy the content. Also, here's some other videos you might find interesting. If you'd like to support my work, please consider donating, buying some merchandise, or join Patreon. Thanks.